Rain fell in gentle whispers on the cobblestone path, each drop a secret shared with the ancient stones. I stood before Ravenshade Hall, its silhouette rising from the mist like a ghost from another era. The Historical Society had sent me, a historian armed with a camera, to document its forgotten past. I came looking for stories trapped in dust and shadow, but I never imagined I'd find one that would rewrite my own. The mansion had been locked away for decades, a silent keeper of untold tales. As I pushed open the heavy, creaking doors, the air inside rushed to greet me. It smelled of old paper, dried lavender, and the sweet decay of time. It was the scent of memory itself. I adjusted my camera, my heart a steady drum against my ribs, and stepped into the long, echoing corridors. My footsteps were the only sound, a soft punctuation in the mansion's quiet sentence. From the walls, portraits of elegant women watched me from their gilded frames. Their painted eyes seemed so alive, as if they were waiting for someone to finally listen. I felt a chill, not of fear, but of anticipation. What secrets were they guarding? Careful, some of the floorboards are weak. The voice came from the shadows behind me, warm and unexpected. I spun around, my heart leaping into my throat. There, holding a flickering lantern that cast dancing shadows on the walls, stood a woman. She was dressed in simple linen and denim, her dark hair falling in loose waves over her shoulders. The lantern light caught the curiosity in her eyes. I didn't know anyone else was here, I managed, lowering my camera, feeling a bit like an intruder. "I'm Clara," she said, her smile faint but genuine. "I help restore these old estates. You must be the historian." Her tone was gentle, but there was an undercurrent of something else, as if she'd been expecting me. It was a strange feeling, like stepping into a story that had already begun. Together, we became explorers of time, wandering from one forgotten room to the next. Clara, with her quiet expertise, seemed to know the mansion's soul. We uncovered leather-bound journals, their pages filled with elegant, faded script. We found miniature portraits hidden in drawers and trinkets left behind by hands that had long since turned to dust. With every discovery, I noticed the way Clara's eyes would soften when she spoke of the women who once called this place home. She treated each object not as an artifact, but as a piece of a life, a fragment of a heart. "This mansion was built by Lady Evelyn in 1892, Clara explained, her fingers gently brushing dust from an ornate writing desk. "She was a formidable woman, but there was someone else here with her companion Margaret. Most of the official records just call her a maid, but the letters we found, they suggest something more." My heart began to race, a new rhythm syncing with the house's secrets. "More?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. "As in, they were in love?" Clara looked up from the desk, her gaze meeting mine in the dim light. She nodded slowly. "Their letters. They're full of a love they had to hide from the world. They wrote about longing, about stolen moments, about kisses exchanged under candlelight when the rest of the house was asleep." The words hung in the air between us, charged with a century of unspoken passion. We weren't just historians anymore. We were witnesses. We were piecing together a love story that history had tried to erase, a love that was whispered in ink and hidden between the lines. It felt profound, important. As evening bled into night, the world outside seemed to conspire with the mansion's secrets. A low rumble of thunder vibrated through the old floorboards. Then, with a flicker and a sigh, the modern lights died, plunging the house into the soft, intimate glow of Clara's lantern. We found ourselves in the grand ballroom. Faded chandeliers hung from the high ceiling like forgotten constellations. The air was thick with the ghosts of forgotten music and laughter. Clara set the lantern down on the floor, its golden light painting our faces, isolating us in a small, warm circle of light. "Can you imagine them here?" Clara whispered, her voice filled with a hushed reverence. "Dancing right here, when no one else could see them." And in that moment, I could. The silence of the room seemed to fill with the phantom strains of a waltz. I could almost see them, two women in love, spinning in the darkness, their movements a rebellion against a world that wouldn't understand. I looked at Clara. Her lips were curved in a tender, wistful smile, her eyes reflecting the lantern's flame. Without thinking, without planning, I felt myself drawn closer to her, pulled by a force that felt as old as the mansion itself. "Do you believe in a love that can defy time?" I asked, my own voice trembling slightly. Clara's gaze held mine, a universe of understanding passing between us. "I do now," she whispered back. The house seemed to hold its breath. The past and present converged. Slowly, as if we were both moving in a dream, I reached out and took her hand. The touch was warm, real, grounding me in the surreal moment. And when our lips finally met, it felt less like a choice and more like a destiny. It wasn't a kiss of sudden impulse, but one of deep, soul-shaking recognition. It was as if history had written this very moment for us, long, long ago. It felt like coming home. As we kissed, a brilliant flash of lightning lit up the entire ballroom, illuminating the portraits of Evelyn and Margaret on the far wall. It was as if they were watching, two women whose love had been hidden, but never truly lost. When we finally, reluctantly, pulled apart, a soft laugh escaped Clara's lips. "Well," she said, her voice husky, "I guess we've just added another chapter to this house's story." I smiled, brushing a stray strand of hair from her face, my own heart full to bursting. "Maybe we didn't add one," I replied softly. "Maybe we just continued it." We were a bridge across time, living the love that they could only whisper about in secret. As the first hints of dawn painted the sky in shades of rose and gray, we sat together by a large window overlooking the misty garden. I closed my journal, the pages now filled with a story far more personal than I had ever intended to write, and leaned my head on Clara's shoulder. The mansion, once a place of silence and secrets, now felt alive, its very walls seeming to hum with stories of courage, of passion, and of a love that refused to be forgotten. I realized then that history isn't just something written in ink on brittle paper. Sometimes it's carved into the very air we breathe, waiting for two souls brave enough to find it and to kiss beneath its weight. In the heart of Ravenshade Hall, love had once been hidden away in the dark. Now, in the light of a new day, it was reborn. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the heart of Ravenshade Hall. If this story touched you, please give this video a like and subscribe for more tales of hidden history and forgotten love. See you next time.